Welcome back to PlayStation Live from E3, everybody. Justin and Kristen here, talking to Carl Lue, producer at Ubisoft Singapore, about Skull and Bones.
Arr.
Arr. Okay, I got my bad pirate impression.
You had to get that out.
I had to do it. So, Skull and Bones, this is something that got revealed a while ago, but we got a really, a much better look at it this week at E3. Can you give us kind of the broad strokes? What is Skull and Bones?
Yeah, so here at E3, we're showcasing the hunting grounds, which is the essence of Skull and Bones. It's a shared world with 10 players in it, and you engage in whatever you want. You go out into that world seeking to become the pirate that no empire can take down. So you do that by taking on merchants, warships, or other players.
Cool. And this is, to kind of make the comparison nice and early, this is very reminiscent of the naval battle stuff in Assassin's Creed Black Flag, which I was a huge fan of. Can you tell us a little bit about how you took kind of the skeleton of that and expanded it into this full game?
Absolutely. So at Ubisoft Singapore, we actually created the naval gameplay for Assassin's Creed all the way back in Assassin's Creed 3. And as early as that, and especially, of course, with Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag, we saw that the naval gameplay was very popular. And a lot of people were asking, what would this be like in a multiplayer setting? What would it be like to play a full pirate game? So that's something we've been dreaming of working on for years, and we're very happy to share that with the players here at E3 this year.
Great. Well, it looks fantastic. We're seeing some footage here now. Feel free to call anything out as you see it if it stands out to you. But yeah, can you tell us? You mentioned the multiplayer. Can you tell us a little bit more about how the multiplayer functions in Skull and Bones?
Yeah, absolutely. So the multiplayer it's the core of our game. It's an online game, so you're always in a shared world. And when you enter the hunting grounds, you start in the hideout. You'll prepare for your hunt. You choose what ship you want to play. You'll check what the conditions are like using the fortune teller. And once you go out into the world, you'll use your spyglass, the crow's nest, and you'll see what's around you. And sometimes you'll come across another player. And when you spot another player, that moment is really interesting because you're probably a few hundred meters away from each other, and you have to make a choice. Do I want to ally with this person? Do I want to take them on? You can very easily send a quick in-game invite, say, hey, do you want to join my group? We can take on some bigger challenges like the fort or some really difficult escorts. And so maybe you'll join up and take on other players or bigger challenges, or perhaps he'll reject your invite and you're going to have to fight each other.
You mentioned the spyglass, and that got me thinking. It must be really interesting to try and balance kind of an accessible game experience with the very analog manual feel of captaining a pirate ship. How do you balance those two things, and where do you draw the line between making things too kind of opaque to the player?
Yeah, with Skull and Bones, we really want to push the skill cap and make sure that it's all about deep, rich gameplay, which really exposes how good a player is, and that's how successful they'll be within the hunt. So scouting things like the crow's nest and the spyglass need to be used to collect information and know how you want to attack a foe. Another important part is the wind. So we have wind gameplay, so you really have to pay attention on what direction is the wind coming, and then align your ship accordingly to make sure you can get those attacks in the right way.
Can you tell us a little bit about the strategy beyond just the immediate combat, but you can also sneak with your ship? There's ways that you can sort of move around to sort of hide and cloak yourself. Could you tell us a bit more about that?
Absolutely. That's something we've shown in the gameplay video is the idea of deception. So in the world, there will be things you can interact with, and some of those include shipwrecks. And if there's a sunk ship, for example, in the trailer, we have there's a Portuguese merchant there, so you can go up to it, take its sails.
They don't need those sails anymore.
They don't need the sails. Those guys have been
Pirates
sunk.
aren't completely honest, upstanding folks.
No, there is no honor amongst thieves, and pirates are certainly the thieves of the Indian Ocean. Yeah, so once you're disguised as a Portuguese merchant, you can sail right past their warships or even past the fort. And that, in the trailer, we showed that the fort was a very powerful defense unit, so to get past it, deception was a good way to do that.
Right. And then even in the multiplayer, say you do decide to ally, our two pirate ships decide to work together, we might turn against each other in the end anyway?
Yeah, sometimes when you've taken down a big loot and it's just too delicious to share, then perhaps you'll turn on each other, yes.
Oh my gosh, no honor amongst
It's a bit risky, though.
Yeah, of course. It is risky, and the world will react to how you behave. So if you are attacking a lot of ships and sinking a lot of other ships on the ocean, there will be bounty hunters coming after. You yourself will become a very attractive target.
So on that note, what's the general progression loop look like in this game? What are players going to be kind of chasing as they're playing Skull and Bones?
Yeah, so the objective is to become the pirate that no empire can take down. you start as an upstart pirate in the Indian Ocean. You've rejected the king's pardon in the Caribbean. There's no more piracy in the Caribbean. Piracy is dead in the Caribbean. Long live piracy in the Indian Ocean. So you've come across the Indian Ocean, and you're looking to become that pirate king. And how you do that is you build a fleet of ships, you upgrade them, you get new weapons, and you become stronger and stronger by collecting loot in the world and going back to your hideout and upgrading your equipment.
And how does the single-player experience vary from the multiplayer experience?
It's an online game, so you're always in a shared world. So.
Okay, I see.
So it's just kind of like a seamless, like you can play single player, but you're inevitably going to be running into other players. And
yeah, because of the scouting tools, you can recognize when other players are around, and if you don't want to engage in other players,
sail on by.
You can be like, hey, there's nothing to see here. I'm going to go this way.
I don't want no trouble. Can you tell us a little bit more about the customization options in the game and about the different ways you can outfit your ship?
Absolutely. So there's gameplay customization, such as the weapons. So that's going to be the main thing. You can choose different types of long-range weapons, such as mortars or rockets, the different types of cannons you put for your broadside or your front shots. Some cannonballs, like the carronades, they're focused on sail damage, which slows down the opponents, which is really good for chasing them. You can even customize your crew. They will give you added buffs to your gameplay experience, and that's also something that you can take down on the enemy ship. You can take their crew out to make them a bit weaker.
Oh, cool. So is there like on-foot gameplay? Is it mostly ship-based, or is there kind of a balance?
It's a game based as a pirate captain at the helm of your ship. There is a hideout where you can walk around between your hunts and plan your next hunt, gather intel, customize your ship, upgrade things. But once the core of the gameplay is indeed you at the helm of your ship.
Yeah, you mentioned that the kind of the hub area. Can you tell us a little bit more about the things that you can do there?
Yeah, sure. So that's where you have the shipwright. You'll have that's where you'll be able to recruit different crew members. The fortune teller is there, where you can talk to Taljid, our fortune teller. He will let you know what state the world is in. So you can come to the same map on different fortunes, and the conditions can completely
Doesn't
change.
it feel kind of like cheating to ask a fortune teller what you should be doing in a video game? I don't know.
Well, it's optional. If you want to take on the extra challenge, don't talk to Taljid and just go out in the world unprepared.
I'll probably cave and talk to the fortune teller.
Yeah.
Cool. So can you tell us a little bit about just kind of the gameplay that we're seeing on the screen here? Just kind of describe what's happening.
Yeah. So here we see this is the Royal Fortune being captained here. So that's the biggest, strongest player ship we have here at E3. That has it's a frigate with a huge amount of broadsides. So that's really powerful. Here we can see the density of this particular map. This is in the hostile takeover fortune. So the Portuguese and the English are fighting at sea here, so that pirates are often opportunistic. So you can come in there and try and take advantage of these two factions fighting each other.
You mentioned that ship was the most powerful one you have here. What's going to happen if a brand new player sets sail and encounters someone who's at like end game status? Is there like a disconnect there? How do you handle that?
That is something that we're actively looking at in our PvPvE world. How do we make sure it has a safe onboarding and make sure that all different play styles will be welcomed, and that's something we'll continue to look at.
Good to know that you're working on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we've got a couple ships squaring off here.
Yep, when you see the white sails, those are merchants. So as a pirate, those are like
okay.
the prey that you're hunting to get the most loot. You can use your spyglass to identify what those merchants are carrying. And so if there's a certain type of commodity that you're seeking at that time, you can find that ship that you want and go after it.
I see.
Here we see the crew. They're manning the sails.
What kind of ship is your favorite so far?
So we have three ships here at E3. We have the Royal Fortune, which we spoke about, the big frigate. Then there's the Black Horn, which specializes in ramming. That's my personal favorite. I like to get in close and nasty. You see it there in the front with a big front ram. That when you come close and you can really hit the ship hard and ideally transition straight into a boarding. Boarding is a high-risk finishing move, which allow you to maximize your loot.
Got it.
And so I've got one more question for you before we let you go. What do you think is going to make Skull and Bones stand out as a unique entry in Ubisoft's lineup?
It's a really fascinating game. When we play it, we're amazed at how different we play it each time. That social experience of when you see another pirate out there, what are you going to do? Are you going to become allies? Are you going to take each other on? So allowing the player to find out what sort of pirate they are, and I'm sure our players will be surprised. They won't even know what type of pirate they were before they play the game.
I'll be nice. I'll be a nice pirate. I say that now.
You think that, yes, you think that. Once you play
That's what they all say when they get started.
the greed, we will make sure that you become greedy and then you make decisions you might later regret.
Is there a release date, or are you guys targeting anything in particular?
Yeah, we've mentioned a 2019 release day, and the game is available to play on the floor at the Ubisoft booth, so please come on over and check that out. And you can also get details of the live phases at the website, skullandbonesgame.com.
Great. Anything else you want to say to the fans out there before we let you go?
Have a great E3. It's a wonderful time to be in the industry. We love video games.
All right. Applause for that.
Thank you.
Carl, Kristen, thank you so much for joining us. That is Skull and Bones. It's coming to PS4 in 2019. Stay tuned to PlayStation Live from E3 2018, as we'll have a lot more coming up.
One of the first formal studies of the phenomenon was at Harvard Medical School in the year 2000. Participants played the game for 7 hours each, spread over the course of 3 days. Remarkably, 63% of the participants, almost 2/3, reported seeing imagery from the game hours after they finished playing, often just as they were falling asleep. This fact on its own was newsworthy. But even more surprising, amnesic patients with brain damage that prevents them from forming new memories also reported seeing game imagery well after they'd finished playing. These participants were unable to recall having ever played the game, but their descriptions matched those of players with perfect memories. Blocks. They all saw blocks, falling through space, sometimes rotating or fitting neatly into empty spaces between other blocks. Some participants also reported seeing completed lines disappearing.
Every passing day, the winds climb stronger. Joy to light the way, to keep the reminder that I'm yours forever. There is no end in sight for us, nothing could measure the kind of strength inside our hearts. It's all connected. We're all together in this love, don't you forget it. We're all connected in this. I'm yours forever. There is no end in sight for us, nothing could measure the kind of strength inside our hearts. It's all connected. We're all together in this love, don't you forget it.
The researchers gave this phenomenon a name.
PlayStation.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back. We are still here in downtown Los Angeles with PlayStation live from E3, and I have a very exciting segment to get to today. Ryan and Meredith here, and we are talking to Shimbori-san, Minglu, and Tom, and we are talking about Dead or Alive 6. Gentlemen, welcome back to the program.
Thanks.
And
Thanks.
welcome to Shimbori-san. Thank you guys so much for being here. Let's talk, maybe Tom, let me start with you real quick.
Sure.
The original Dead or Alive came out in 1996. I mean, that's a long history for the series, and the series has been around for a long time. What's it like for you and for the team to work on something that has such a history?
Oh, it's absolutely amazing. I mean, DOA has evolved over the years in so many different ways, and I think, especially in the last iteration with DOA 5, when we launched that, I think it really took on a new life of its own, and I think we've really energized our competitive community with that. I mean, DOA has its strengths, but I think we've really tapped into that. I don't know. I wouldn't even really say esports, but it's a competitive scene, which was very exciting for us. So with that in mind, we're so excited for DOA 6 because it's so much more of this new competitive mechanics coming into play, gorgeous stages, obviously attractive characters, and I can't wait for our director to reveal a lot of these details for you today. I mean, I would spill it all right now, but I want to give him a chance to speak. So
let's give Shimbori-san a moment here and kind of share with us. Maybe let's talk a little bit about what's new and what's important in Dead or Alive 6.
DOA6 において、最も新しいそして大事な部分はどこだとお考えですか？
そうですね。まずこのゲームのね、テーマというかコンセプトがありまして、激闘エンターテインメントと呼んでます。
Well, first and foremost, the concept for this game is intense entertainment, intense fighting entertainment.
プレイステーション